My name is Nima. I'm coming from Toronto, Canada. I did my undergrad at the University of Toronto in Mississauga campus, where I did biology specialists. And then after that, I did my master's in bioorganic chemistry and drug synthesis. So we did a lot of work on anti-cancer therapies and whatnot. And the ultimate goal was coming to medicine, so here I am. Well, I have a lot of family in healthcare, and my mother particularly, and kind of from a young age that the healthcare industry and the joy of what you can do for people was kind of instilled on me, coming home, hearing the stories of what she was able to do for the patients. On my father's side, he's very science-oriented, very academic-oriented as well. So, of course, they had an academic influence on me, and I didn't really see myself doing anything else, so like engineering or law. I really enjoyed being in the hospital throughout the various volunteer opportunities I had. So I just wanted to be part of that community, part of that interdisciplinary team, and hopefully make changes and the lives of my patients better. I was a Canadian domestic student, and I was in that path to trying to get into Canada as well as US. Of course, it wasn't so successful. So I was looking around at the various Caribbean schools, and I came across St. James. I noticed it was in Anguilla, and I heard just from reading in the news, Anguilla is a very quiet place, and that's something that I need to kind of minimize distractions, and also the finances and whatnot. It made sense to come here in terms of the risk with reward benefit. The transition was actually very easy for me. So unlike the majority, or some students may say, that it can be actually quite difficult, I found it very easy because I'm not, I guess my background is Middle Eastern, so I come from small villages back, or my parents do actually, so I was used to being accustomed to not having everything accessible. Not having your Amazon Prime next day delivery available, your Walmart, your supercenters. So that wasn't really a surprise for me, and I really try to assimilate in the culture and the place I am. So I'm loving the local delicacies in terms of the food, the entertainment, even their traditions. So I'm really enjoying it. So in my undergrad, I really truly believed that nothing's gonna be harder than this. I was so overwhelmed, had so many tasks to do, so I really thought that this was the worst is gonna get. But as good or as bad as it sounds, it was kind of a joke compared to medical school. I'm sure you've heard it yourself, and it's like kind of being in a medical school. It's like drinking water in a fire hydrant, right? So it's not possible, right? But the idea is that you need to balance, you need to prioritize studying. Every day you need to do a little bit, but you also prioritize your well-being, right? So that includes mental and physical well-being, so exercising, doing the things that you need to do to de-stress while prioritizing your education. And I actually really like St. James's education and curriculum, how it's set up, because in that MD1 to MD4 semester, it's all course-based. So you really get to learn all the topics in a really in-depth level. But then MD5, you kind of take a step back and you have that systems-based approach to kind of put together all the different pieces and parts that you're learning in those different courses into now the big picture. Specifically to Anguilla, you need a car. There is no public transportation, and even though it is a very small island, things are quite far apart from each other, and there's not that infrastructure for walking or for biking on a regular basis to get to your grocery stores and to school. So you really do require a car in Anguilla, but that's okay because they're very affordable. The island's small, so you're not spending so much on gas. In terms of the accessibility, when I came to Anguilla, there was no direct flights to the US, so we had to take a ferry to St. Martin, which is the closest island, around 20-minute ferry, and then we could fly out internationally. But now there is weekly flights to Miami, so that made transportation really, really simple. To Toronto, it's just 2 flights, 8-9 hours, and I'm back home. So that's not really a concern anymore. In terms of the disadvantages, I guess is the accessibility of things. So for example, if something breaks and you need that Amazon order, you're not going to be able to get that, or you will, but in a few weeks' time, not overnight. So you have to be mindful when you're packing and when you're coming to the island to make sure that you bring essentials that you need for the next few months. Because it's true, in the breaks when you go home, you can restock, but you need to kind of bring your supply of what you need for that time in Anguilla. But mind you, St. Martin's a 20-minute boat ride, and St. Martin has a lot of things that America or Canada would have. So it's really not that bad. I really do believe that St. James is preparing me very well for step one, and the reason that I'm able to say this so confidently is because after the majority of our courses, we have an MBME assessment for that course, and that is a standardized test from the same company that writes a step one, and that really kind of gauges your understanding of that material that was taught in that course. And you're compared to other Canadian students and American students and other Caribbean students. So it's a standardized test, and if you're able to get the national average or score above the national average, that's a representation that you are learning what you need to learn and you're ready for step one. So I'm not really concerned about it. I know that all my hard work and sleepless nights are paying off with those national assessments, and I know what I need to do and specifically practice questions, and I'm not that concerned, yeah. When I was on that domestic path, I really wanted to become a surgeon because of my interest in surgery and also the age advantage I had. You know, I was in my low 20s, I had all the time in the world, you could say, and not to say I don't have it now, I'm only a few years older, I'm 26 right now, but just looking at the statistics and probability, right now I'm probably going to be aiming for sports and exercise medicine, because you typically go into a family medicine residency and then you do a subspecialty in that sports or exercise medicine in Canada, at least. I know in the US they have a PM&R program, which is a dedicated program itself. But those are around 3 years, sometimes 4 years program that allows you kind of to complete it in a short amount of time, that training. And I've reaped the benefits of sports and exercise medicine and of that physio training and physiotherapy throughout my life. So I think it's a perfect fit for me as well. In addition to doing extensive research on all the schools' official websites, if you see, for example, a deadline that has passed, or if you see a certain requirement that you don't necessarily meet, still reach out for it and still apply. Because a lot of times, if you are, for example, lacking a prerequisite course, but you have an alternative course, they can apply that to cover that prereq requirement. So don't be discouraged if on that website you don't seem to qualify for some of the schools. Apply and reach out to the academic advisors. They're awesome. They will respond. They will call you. They'll spend hours on the phone with you, kind of breaking down and going through as much detail as you want. So I really think that some words of wisdom is be perseverant and don't kind of shut yourself down on those school options based on what you see on the website. Still reach out, still ask the academic advisors, because they may be some sort of exceptions, or there may be some sort of extra things that you've done that can make up for anything that you're lacking.